Welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft, and check me out. It is your buddy Insectovoid. I took off my armor because I realised that these terrasteel things they match my skin. I look ridiculous, and I can't remember if I showed you the boots when we were last recording in our last episode, but I found these and decided to equip them, and yes, matching boots, very good stuff. But what you'll notice around here is that the wastelands, no surprise, has been expanded. Boy oh boy have I been putting in some time here digging away. So this border's pretty much the same. I've pushed this one back to the water over here. Soon we're going to do an episode where we focus on the edges. How are we going to transition between the different biomes and rivers and things like that, but that's not going to be today. There is this chance cube that I found. I didn't know I'd be cranking one open in the beginning of this video, but sometimes they are hidden under the sand. And string. Lots and lots of string. Wow, how much string? Let's press Q, which is the vein mining button. Okay, did it vein mine all of it? I think it did. And that's how much string we got. That's a nice little bonus, isn't it? I'm not sure if I needed a lot of string, but I will certainly take that. So we've pushed this back all the way over to this edge. I'm standing roughly where it was last time. You probably would have seen it. And I need to keep going around and looking out for little bits like this, you know, so we can get rid of all the little bits of sand that are left over. Then there was a big river here, and I've had that thing, the pump. Is it a pump? Charging away, just placing dirt after dirt after dirt, going all the way through here, and it looks like it's got further than when I last checked up on it. I think it is going to expand to all the way over here, and then what we'll do is we'll sort of terraform this down as if the river just happens to end there, so that should work out pretty well. Off in the other direction, again, just been pushing back the terrain. We're flying around to check it out here. It looks so cool watching it unfold. I also love it when there's bits like this where there's ravines to like drop down into. I really think that's cool. There's a couple of them around the place. And over in this direction, what I decided to do is isolate our outpost in an attempt to encourage me to move on from this little location. We probably need to get some of these things underground, but that'll take its time. So I've been digging around the back here, and there are some crazy mountains of sandstone. You will see one of them over here. Let's go grab our tool for doing this so we can do a little bit of mining together here. There's just these big chunks of sandstone, and so I mine it and just sit back here and watch it all disappear. It's actually kind of slow in a way. I mean, if we had instant mine, it might be a little bit faster to break the blocks while moving around, but I think this is much more convenient. And there was like a little cave down below here as well, and yeah, so you get bits of terrain like that, but we are, always expanding it, which is great. And back here, I've been working on a few things. So do you remember how we upped the power of this to, I think, 1920? In this little menu, it's back down to 100 because eventually it sapped all of the energy out of here. It is really difficult to manage this and tell when it is going to suck the power away until all of a sudden refined storage shuts down. Now another thing I've been doing is keeping my eye on the amount of lava eggs, and at the moment that is increasing. Yesterday it was at 7,500. It has increased, which means we can probably therefore start to use a little bit more juice on this thing. Let's set it up to 160 for now. And then it will just run, I keep pressing 9, slightly faster. And what we want to do is get those ores coming into the system because we need to start automatically processing them. Now, we built a project, didn't we? We did this whole project. How do I get there again? Wait a minute, I'm going the wrong way around. This is one of those things that's going to catch me out sometimes, just not thinking about where I'm going. There we go. So this project down here, the pack hasn't been updated, which means the bug that occurs in this system is still there. So we can't use our auto smelting, which is a shame really. And also I kind of want an excuse to come down to this room because it just does something and we don't have to go down there and do it ourselves. It all works through these ender chests. But what I decided to do is just attach an importer and an exporter over here. Set it up so it will take those ores that are coming through from our quantum quarry and just automatically do it over here right now, which is kind of boring, isn't it? So the next thing to talk about is our storage. If I take items out of it, it is running really smooth today. There are no problems here by the looks of it. often when I'm interacting with this thing, I get a little bit of lag. And so when I first set up this system for storing our items, I did get a lot of comments from you guys telling me that I might run into some issues, and I've definitely seen those. Just lag, nothing really crazy, but if we scroll through here, you will see that actually we are filling this thing all the way up. I mean, that is a lot of items, right? And we probably need to start considering that some of these things should be automatically voided. We don't need all of these different pieces of armor, do we? What is that? A quest giver mark. Okay. And yeah, there are probably lots of things in here that are basically junk and that we could get rid of. So we need to set up a system for removing these things as well. There's also loads of these shields in here. In fact, we should go back to the main system so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. I believe the mobs generate with random colors on the shields. If I put one of these in my offhand and hold the other one, and we do that, looks kind of cool, but I think they're random. I think there's like no preemptive designs for these shields. If we go into here and type in shield, you will see just a ridiculous amount of them, and I want to do something with this in the future. I've got a cool idea for what we can do with all of these, but we'll hold on to the shields. As of right now, what we need to do is get rid of all of that other junk. I am absolutely shocked at the amount of items that are in here. I've started voiding the iron armor first of all, so a lot of those are gone. But look at this. There was like originally 50 of those, 25 out of 195. I think there's a bias to how much durability it will drop with on average, because there was big stacks of those, and then you can see there's loads of tools and all sorts of stuff in here. That's a ridiculous amount of items, right? Look at that. Insane. Now I went and checked out gold as well, and there's some really good enchantments on these as well. Check this one out, somewhere around here. Silk Touch, Efficiency 5, Unbreaking 3. Efficiency 4 on a shovel and Silk Touch. I mean, they're really good enchantments, but obviously these tools are useless. As a vanilla player, I would wish I'd had this in a vanilla world, all of these items. So there's loads of diamond stuff that dumps as well. But the reality is we're just going to have to bin it all. But look at those enchantments. They're so good. There is a disenchanter in this pack, I believe, where you can take enchantments off of these items and put them into a book. So perhaps we could revisit that another point in this game. Another thing to mention, though, you can't put any of these into tinkers. I have tried that already. You can't smelt down the armors when they're fully repaired and unenchanted or anything like that. And also, I reminded myself that I crafted an enchanter. We got one right here. If you haven't seen this before, basically you can craft the enchantment book that you want. So we've also got Fortune running on the quarry as well, so that should make it slightly more efficient. There are loads of fruity colours of leather armour as well. So many of them. I can't believe just how much stuff has been stored in this system. And remember, these things aren't stackable. So they're taking up a whole slot where a stack of items can go, and they come with really good enchantments as well. So this is the setup over here, just exporting them. We're ignoring the damage and the MBT data, and this is very temporary. I really would like to move on from this base now because there's not much space here, and I was thinking about expanding some of the walls and stuff, but then you've got to dig up all of these machines and rearrange them. It's really not worth it. Man, this guy's making a racket. Dude, I'm trying to work over here, and you're filling my ears with squidgy noises. Oh, and now I've got to spend ages whacking all of these guys as well. We're under our mob farm, by the way. I'm back over here to make some tweaks, adjustments, and whatnot. And did I just get an artifact loot bag? Let's crank it open right now, because that's a goodie. Also, there's a creeper right there. I just spotted him. A cow in a jar and an angel block. Well, that is actually a really good find, the angel block. You can right click in front of you and it will place the block in air, which is pretty cool. So if we actually go over here, you'll see that it's very dark around this area. What I would like to do is hook up some lighting to a control panel, which we're going to build on the back here. In fact, I've already started building it a little bit. So it's dark in there at the moment, and the first option that I made was for the mobs. So they drop down at our demands, and then I thought, well, we need a lever on the other side. What can I do over here? We need to just put a block in here temporarily. We can put in a lever for the lights in the farm. So what we've got in our inventory is a redstone receiver and a redstone transmitter. You place one on the ground, you click it with the other one, and you link them together that way. So if we go over the back here, we can place the transmitter like that, so it will receive the input and then it will send it on the receiver. Now the place we're going to put this, I mean, I want to put it in the middle. Can I put it there? Oh, I can. Well, that's actually really cool. So if we add another redstone conduit here, it'll pass on the signal. That one we're going to disable because it doesn't need to be there. Right, so now I can go and hit this switch. If I could get through here, please. There we go. If I hit this switch, it's going to... Excellent. So if you want the lights on to see what's going on, then you can do that. Let's leave them on for now. I want to show you something underneath here. So I was trying to break some cobblestone, and I was struggling to do it. Let's see if that'll happen again. Aha! Look how slow that's mining, right? Now let's go over to the edge here. See how quickly it breaks? Well, what's going on here is silverfish that have landed in the farm have actually put themselves inside of the cobblestone down here, which is kind of hilarious, I think. But anyway, the next thing that we want to do, because we've got our two switches, is to put some screens into this thing. We're going to have one on that side, one on this side over here, and I've kind of realised that I needed to have made another one of these modules right here. The problem I'm seeing at the moment is that the screens don't look particularly great. I mean, that font could probably be a little bit better, but what we want to do with this thing is click it onto a receiver and a transceiver, or one of them. So we'll click it onto that one, and this will now pick this up. By the way, we've got a temporary power set up here. That's how we're going to power this for the meantime, and then I can put it into that thing, and now we can configure it. So we click on this, and we have a line. We're going to say, are the lights on? Question mark spacebar. Okay, then we'll change the colour for this one to green and this one to red, and that's about it really. I don't know what the brightness thing does, except, hang on. Oh, I know what I got to do. I got to tell that thing to scan. Now it's found this one. There you go. Are the... Wait, hang on. What happened to the rest of my message? Are the lights on? It says, are the yes? Are the no? I mean, what we'd really like is some sort of big font, centralized, you know... it doesn't look that great. It really doesn't. So if we change, we can also change the font here, right? So we can set it to vanilla, and it doesn't actually change, which is kind of disappointing. And we can also tick bright on, which doesn't seem to change anything. So I thought this would be really cool, you know, have a little screen displaying some information, and actually it's kind of sucky. And we'll do the same thing as that on this side over here. I'll try and make it a little bit better, play around with it some more. But I've got something to show you up the top. So I've finished putting all of our spawners in place and doing the last bits and bobs here. I accidentally left a torch like up here. It was just on the side of a block, and I can't actually place one on those. And it was right next to our creeper spawner. We never got a lot of creeper spawns, and for some reason I just wasn't clocking on that I left a torch directly next to these, which would slow it down. But anyway, there is our other transceiver, so it can send the signal down here. I've added, like, I think an extra cave spider and skeleton one in here, so we've got a nice even block. And then all of these have one speed upgrade in as well, except the creeper one, which has 6. So I put the rest of mine in that one since we only have one creeper spawner. And that is actually this bit done now. I'm going to come back and chisel these blocks. Okay, don't worry, don't freak out. In fact, can't I just... Aha! I love that sound. There we go. No one will ever know. Right, that's been sealed now. And, yeah, so we can just end up hitting... Did I leave my torch up there? I hope I didn't leave my torch up there. I don't think I did. I got something very cool to show you. By the way, this is how the screens are going to look for now. The text gets cut off, which is just ridiculous. Anyway, these are going to fall down very, very fast. And then we're going to see that this thing actually struggles to keep up with them a little bit, doesn't it? So I've made myself some upgrades for that, and also brought a sound muffler with me. I think this is probably a very good idea. Now they're making a lot less sound. Excellent. So yeah, I've brought some upgrades for each of these. Bam! And now they are all fully upgraded. So I'm hoping they will kill some of the mobs a little bit quicker. They're also going to start setting them on fire. And you at the end... Oh, we never did beheading the whole way. Interesting. You have 1, you have 3, and that one has 0. I think they're all supposed to have 2. I'll sort that out in a moment. But now you can see the Endermen are getting on fire. We need to make that obelisk, and I've got the power source over here to activate it at the moment, so that's something we'll do. What I want to show you right now, though, is another module that you can use in these screens. This is really cool stuff now, okay? So what we're going to do is link it up to the vacuum chest that picks up all of the items, and we need to link up both of them to this one, and then we can put them into a screen, and this screen is going to display what's inside of that chest. It's going to be seriously cool. The place I want to put it is right here, and I need to be able to access that thing there so it actually gets hooked up. Yeah, so I'm going to have to pop down here. So now we take our modules, we put them into here, and they need a little bit of configuring, or actually it looks like it's getting going straight away here. So I believe what we want to do is give it a number, which is the inventory slot, right? So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next one what we want to do, this one is already configured apparently, is go 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then it will display the icons for those bits. And because it's full up already, because we're not pulling out the items fast enough, you can see all of the items that are in there right now. That is awesome. It's also a little bit dim around here. I think actually what we should do is put a light source behind this screen. That is a cool sight. I don't know why I pressed F5 though, but hey, I'm doing a test. These spikes can't hurt us through the conveyors. I had an idea that we could put some wooden spikes underneath this to make it a little bit more efficient. That means the mobs would be taking damage, but they wouldn't die until they reach these things over here, what they call the mob mashers. And anyway, you can see what I've done here. I've gone and I've added in some extra item conduits and also vacuum hoppers as well, so we suck up the items quicker because they were really starting to back up. Now, I have been a little bit concerned because we're using quite a few modules over here. Geez, stop shooting at me. I'm trying to record a video. That is actually going down a lot quicker than I would like it, and for that reason I'm probably actually going to turn off this screen. But before we do that, let's leave this area now, but I want to turn on this thing one last time and just see how it handles the items now, because we've got 3 vacuum hoppers down there, and they've got item upgrades, and they should be able to handle the amount of items. I'm going to say that we're good. I can't see any items building up. Also, when I look at this thing, you can see the items get sucked out very quickly. So let's turn this off again. You can see the body parts, though. They all kind of stack up and even group together. It looks kind of ridiculous, but they will disappear after a short time. And look at that. No items. That's great. That means we can basically leave this thing running around the clock now. And we're kind of done with this project. Although, as I said, I am going to disable this screen for now. So this thing is providing us with lots of materials, and I've had a little bit of an idea. You see, we don't have to keep mining cobbled dirt, andesite and stuff like that, as well as our ores. We could go to different locations. We're in a desert right now, so if I were to use a biome marker, which we can put inside of this thing, and all I've got to do is right click when I'm in that biome, then I believe we would be farming sand and sandstone. Let's give this thing a whirl, and then keep our eye on this. And maybe we'll see sand and sandstone straight away. Actually, if I disable that, then the items will back up a little bit. Except we're kind of getting nothing at the moment, and it's definitely mining something. What is it doing? So it is finding items, but it's also got a whitelist on to avoid cobble and dirt. I've got a feeling this might not actually work how I thought it would. That would be a real big shame, because we could go to a place like a mesa biome, and then we could get loads of clay from there for building with, which is cool. But also, mesas sometimes have a little bit more gold in them, don't they? And gold is something I'm short on right now. But then again, there's also all of these modded biomes that might have some interesting properties. Like, what if we wanted a lot of that material? That's the crag rock biome, or something else. I'm going to try it out. Let's fly around to a couple of these and see if we can get any extra materials from it. Well, visited a few different places. Mystic Grove, Quagmire, Crag, all have got very interesting blocks inside of them. We can't farm them using this setup though. It just seems to ignore those things, which is really unfortunate. Even the volcanic island, which is... I thought it was full of basalt because I just visited. It's actually full of like ash blocks, which turn into piles of ash, which is no good to us. So the only thing a little bit different that we've got here is eucalyptus wood, but that's unfortunate. Here's another thing I've been doing, by the way. If we type in loot bags, you'll see that I haven't been crafting them into the legendary loot bags. I have still been automatically opening those, but you'll notice this thing is turned off at the moment, and that's because it kind of occurred to me, if we have a look in each of these loot bags, there are probably some valuable things. When it comes to the common one, I don't think so much, but you do see the occasional iron and gold, and I think there was some quartz enriched there as well. But as we go up through the loot bags, you'll see that these things actually yield quite a few decent items. There's more ingots in there, there's stuff from refined storage, weapon loot case bags, and all sorts of really cool things. So I'm thinking what we should do is just open all of these now. We've opened up so many legendary ones, and actually these things have valuable stuff in too, like a log chicken, which I don't think is actually that valuable to us. But yeah, you can see all sorts of metals and ores and other things are actually quite useful in these bags. So now what we're going to do is change it over. This one is probably the most useful of all right here. There is a lot of stuff in there. So where we were just exporting the legendary ones, we're now going to export all of them. All of them, that's right. And we'll do a big round. We'll get rid of all the ones that we've got. These things are... Oh, it's only going to use one at the moment, isn't it? Ah, okay. This will be a bit slow then. But hey, it will still be opening all of the loot bags. So, swiftly moving on, we're going to go down to the flower farm, and I've been doing some work down here. I've just finished setting this thing up. And interesting to see that that one's still going. That'll be done very, very soon, I think. So I went with these 4 first, then those ones, and then these ones, which is why some are active and some aren't, because they've slowly filled up their quota. Now, the quota for each type of dye that we're producing here is going to be 1,000, and if you didn't see one of our previous episodes, you got no idea what's going on here. The setup hasn't changed. I've just spent a lot of time crafting all the things and going around and setting up the infrastructure. So that is odd. They have made a lot more. This is something that I noticed a moment ago. It was at 1.1, and this thing definitely wasn't doing anything, yet somehow it's gone up to 1.4. Perhaps, I think I know what's going on here. Let's type in tool, and then, aha. You see, orange has got quite a few built up there. Could that really be enough to make that much of a difference? You see, if it doesn't craft them quick enough, they can back up a little bit, right? Because each one of these has 8 jobs to do. And I don't know if it'll only do one of them at a time. So that might have something to do with it. We could always put speed upgrades into it, but it doesn't sound right that those have gotten up to 1.4k and 1.5k when they're only set to do 1,000. But anyway, some of the other ones are approaching. The black one has been lagging behind. I'm not sure why, because they're all sort of set up quickly one after another. So something must be different somewhere. And the reason there isn't loads of noise here is because I've added some sound mufflers. But yeah, I basically went through these, did them all one by one, set up all the sequences the same as they were on this side, had to click all of these boxes. Man, it's taken me some time, but it is now finished, and it is going to produce 1,000 of each of these. And of course, we're producing more of red, green and blue because we're going to get used in DecoCraft. The next step now, though, I want to look at them again. Those numbers ticking up is awesome. That means the farm is working really well. So why is cyan getting so little compared to orange, which is directly next to it? Look at that. I wonder if it has something to do with bone meal. Nope, fully stocked up there. What about the shears? I mean, I need to make some more shears. I don't understand that. I don't understand why some end up with more and less than others. Strange stuff. Oh, maybe it's got something to do with this. Now that explains everything, doesn't it? Of course, so that's why this one... Aha! So that one lagged behind because there was loads of it caught in here, and it kept farming the white ones because then when it finally reached that number, there were loads of these flowers in here. Ah! Aha! We need some speed upgrades, don't we? Very soon we're going to have to build a new power source, and I've got a feeling I might just go with the lava eggs, you know. I've been trying to rattle my brain to do something creative and clever, but I haven't come up with anything, and we really need to do that. So these are trickled down again. I've decided to turn this thing down to 20 from 200 RF, so it's running at a tenth of the speed. And if we type in ore, you can see all the ores that are built up. I think we finally just got through the last of the iron, and if I type in ingot, you can see all the stuff that's been getting smelted over here, but this thing is just not fast enough. I wish that other system could get online, but of course it's going to duplicate everything. So anyway, I opened up this, which will be backing up our clay supply, I believe. This is all the stuff coming from the loot down here, and there's actually some really good stuff in here, which is kind of cool. Glowstone chickens. Oh, nice. That is tempting. And then in here you can see we're starting to open the rare and the uncommon ones. So I think we've probably got through all of the common loot bags now. We are going to have so many goodies inside of here. Let's type in loot. There you go. We've finally gotten through them. Excellent. So it's been a bit of an odds and sods episode. I've been running around upgrading infrastructure, and to be fair, there's still more work. I've been thinking about these loot bags that we're opening, and now we're going to stockpile lots and lots of items. For example, if we type in helmet, you can see we now get loads of these types of ones, right? And I probably don't want to keep these, so there's more things that I need to avoid. And essentially what I need to do is sit here, go through all of these different menus right here and figure out what stuff I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. And that's going to take some time, you know, but there's lots of useful things that's going to come through here, so it's all worth it. As of right now, though, I've picked out some of these from Britannia because the next thing I was going to do was go down here and work on the build theme. I want it to be kind of similar to the other room that we did over on this side, but I wanted to use some different textures. We're probably going to go with wood, stone and grass again, but different colours on each of these things. And we're going to use some more curves and just try and do something similar but not the same. I think that's really what I want to do right now. And the thing is, I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking I really don't have time for this, and it's something I do again and again. I just spend too long playing this game, do you know what I mean? And I think what we're going to do is, first of all, not hang out here where the blazes are. I think we're just going to do this and wrap things up. But how about you guys leave a comment and let me know which one of these you like the most. We now have loads of different seeds, and I want to see what kind of colours they make. And actually, I was just thinking I should probably make a bigger patch than that. We might be able to silk touch this. So we got access to a really crazy, vibrant sort of red with a little bit of kind of brown, deep brown going on in there. So that's the scorched pasture. We've got the infused pasture seed as well. This one, like a cyan. Ooh, that's really something, isn't it? Okay, that's kind of cool. We're going to do these in little patches of 3 each time. So then we got the golden pasture, and that is very orangey. They're kind of what they would appear to be. Some of these I was looking at and wondering, like, oh, what would that be? It's going to be a similar colour to that, and when I hold it in my hand, it's kind of purple. So they're not trying to make it cryptic, I think. There you go, purple and yellow, like the seed that we're holding in our hand. Wow, these will give you some real building options, won't they, for making all sorts of crazy stuff, you know. One of the things I'm always impressed with is a build style I've never really gone for, is those kind of fantasy build styles with wild shapes, spirals and crazy colours. Maybe we'll have to do something like that at some point. That one was basically podzol. We've actually done Boreal before, and now we've got infestation spores, so that's mycelium. Not so good. I think we've got just 3 left here. So pasture seeds is regular grass, vivid we've already seen, nice and bright, not quite like jungle. I really want to find the jungle one. And then this is dry grass, a sort of compromise between the two. I gotta say, these are definitely interesting, but unfortunately I haven't found anything I'm too keen on using apart from using the vivid one again, and I'd like for us not to directly retread our footsteps. So maybe the dry one, or maybe I'll wait until I can find more seeds. I'm gonna guess though that's probably all the ones that come out of the loot bags, since we have opened so many of them. How are we up to now? There you go. We've gone through all of them. Also, if I go to petals, you can see these things are finished, and because of the way they pile up, that one has 3,000 of them. But we'll turn all of those into dyes, and we'll use the dyes for all of our dyeing, funny enough, in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it from me this episode. I do hope you have enjoyed it. We'll be back with another episode of FoolCraft soon. So I'll see you then. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.